Okay.
So what I was saying, Agnes, before the system went down, was that the Congress members, the people who are pushing back against the National Security Initiative, something that prior presidents have had to take action on, they're effectively traitors. They're putting their own political interests before the needs of the American people, and are furthering risk against community members, just like Agnes, just like you. I mean, it's outrageous, and I believe that they should be investigated, and really we need to look at why these individuals are putting our country at risk, and if they should be allowed to remain in office. It's a serious
I
issue,
agree.
Agnes.
I completely agree with you 100%. They need to be investigated and some of them need to be arrested. I do not understand how Maxine Waters was not arrested when she said that any Trump supporter that's in a restaurant, in a church, on the street, doesn't matter where, just harass the heck out of them. That woman, shame on her. What a disgusting creature she is. How dare she say that and put people in danger that are literally fighting for this country? If you're a traitor, that woman should be in prison right now. Why is it that nobody went and investigated and harassed? Look how many politicians were harassed in D.C. and locally. This is insane.
It is. It is insane. But I think we can't sit idle. And you speaking out about this, and I'm glad to hear you stand where I stand, and I don't believe we stand alone, Agnes. I really don't. In this fight for ending the corruption that's in our government, and in fact, that's legislating in D.C. We have that gal, Ilian, and I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but the point is she's in Minnesota calling for, making her anti-Semitic comments, and yet they're fighting to try to keep her on certain committees. Literally, she's sitting in Congress, and we have Jews who live here in the United States. Our whole country is being subjected to these individuals who don't look at America, the way that they should, the way that our founders intended, and they're actually legislating against the United States Constitution, and they're defiling and going against their oath that they took when they took office. So
yes, and you know what's even more offensive about that? I heard that when she swore in, took her oath of office, our oath of office to defend our Constitution, she put her hand on a Quran. On her, how is that possible?
Well, why? As well. I mean, she according to her religion, it's okay for her to lie.
It's not okay for us, and people like that you're not standing up for the for United States, for our Constitution. You should never hold office. That woman should be removed immediately because she's almost like a terrorist from within. How are we allowing this?
Well, and in fact, there was another organization who had pushed for her to be expelled. We have the ability through process that literally our own Congress can expel members. In other words, if these members put a risk, such as herself, to our United States Constitution and should not be holding office, they can expel her. The problem is we don't have enough congressional members that have enough fortitude, or shall I say, there's so much corruption there, they're not taking the action they need to keep America safe and put Americans first and citizens first. It's outrageous. But what I'm glad about, Agnes, is that you're speaking up and you're speaking truth and you're sharing your story, because this can happen to anyone. And it will continue to if we don't make actual change.
I believe so. And I honestly would hate to see anybody out there listening to have to stand next to the coffin or an urn of your child, of your mother, of your father, your sibling, because somebody that should have never been in this country killed your family member. And I hear the analogy, Aaron, that people say, well, it could have been John that did it. It could have, but it wasn't.
Right.
And that's a very stupid analogy, because the fact is, if our borders would have been secured, my son would still be alive,
right,
and thousands of other Americans would still be alive. And I don't know how our government, our senators and Congress have allowed this insensitivity to go on and think of nothing more than our children just collateral damage. Oh well, it just happens. No, because if they wouldn't be able to come back and criminal illegal aliens would be deported, then our children, our family member would still be here. And we need to put pressure on them and fight. And I beg everybody listening, please don't give up on our country. Please don't give up on our president, because this man is fighting evil from within.
Absolutely.
And he's doing so much good for this country. And give him a chance. Except you don't have to like it. You know what's amazing, Aaron? Everybody loved Trump before, and now that he's the president,
when he was a movie star, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yes, and now he's the worst thing ever. He is not the worst thing ever. This is fake media feeding ignorant minds with misinformation. And check out the facts, because he's a good man, a very compassionate, caring man. And
who you've met. You speak truth from personal experience, and
I've met him many times, and I can say it. Yes.
And as people, I think people especially who've been through traumatic experiences like yourself, and good from evil. You've seen it, stared it right in the eyes, and you've faced it, and you've met President Trump. And what you're saying to me is that he's sincere and his concern for our American citizens and our children and our families. And I mean, it's a testament. You, a regular woman, a person, a community member, being invited to the White House to talk about this tough issue, that's evidence that he cares.
Absolutely. And I stand with him 100%. And I know there's a big wave of people wanting to bring him down and not reelect him. We're going to fight to reelect him, because this country deserves a chance. And I am not, Aaron, when I took my oath of citizenship, when I became a U.S. citizen, part of it was
to defend right now, because I can think about this and I can just imagine you with your excitement. Becoming a U.S. citizen. Go on.
And I'll tell you why. When I was, before I became an American citizen, I was stateless. My family was stateless, meaning that the Hungarian government took our citizenship away because we escaped from Hungary. So when we came here, we had no country that we belonged to. Do you see the difference? This is my home, my country. And when I took that oath to defend my country against foreign and domestic invaders, that is exactly what I'm doing. I respect and honor this country. I stand up for my country. And even at my age, I would fight. I would go on the front line to fight for this country, to defend it. And I wish more Americans would do that. Well, and young people listening, if you think that socialism is a good thing, think about, put your cell phone down and let's all sell your cell phones and give all that money to those that are sitting at home that have less than you. That's what socialism is. Your liberty is taken away from you. You're not going to get anything free. Your liberty, your peace is going to be taken away, and somebody's going to be dictating to you what you're going to do it, when, and how. That's socialism.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's easy to think about it in a Bernie sense of everybody getting free things, but here's the deal, is government can't give away something that it already hasn't taken from somebody else.
That's right.
And, it is a very real reality, and living in the prosperity that we have here in America, it's all too easy to think that it's a pretty thing, that it's a great thing. But when we've seen socialism and communism in other countries, we can see the devastation it brings. It's never worked.
Yes.
And as we see Venezuela coming out of this situation that it's coming out of, we should have a greater appreciation for the liberties and the freedoms we have here in the United States, and do some restoration work and build the wall, right, Agnes?
Build that wall. And think about it, people. If once all that's taken away from those that worked hard, that acquired some wealth or a lot of wealth, once all that money is gone, then what? Then you're going to become starving in the street, eating grass, eating whatever you can put your hands on, like people are in Venezuela, the revolt. Notice that Venezuela, beautiful country, as I understand, I've never been there, But people are not going to Venezuela. They are fleeing because of the conditions. Nobody is going to a socialist country because it's not good. So think about that. Do your diligence, people. Read up on history, how Europe used to be, how all the communists, the Soviet Union took over, how Nazis, how thousands, they take your guns and they kill you. How, just do your history. Just listen, just pay attention, because it's not as easy and pretty as it sounds. Oh yeah, they're gonna take money from you and give me part of your money. That's good. No, it isn't like that.
Right.
They're going to keep the money and you're still going to have nothing.
Right. That's the eventuality of it. Absolutely. And in fact, when we have a government that is okay, as we saw yesterday, as the Senate moved forward to reject the killing, the murdering of our own birthed babies from botched abortions, if these people are so willing to allow full-term babies to be murdered after an accidental birth, what other lengths will they go to?
Exactly. It'll be another mass murder in mass graves like they did in Europe during Auschwitz.
I don't mean to be, sound extremist, but think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Think about the realities, the push for the gun control, the infanticide. I mean, it's the eugenics, not concerned about borders, wanting open borders, globalism, all of these issues, and certainly the disgust that came from the left when you were invited to the event, Agnes, that was a real reality. I was taken aback by the media, who were surprised that President Trump let you have a voice. Did you see that? I saw that.
That day, I was traveling back home, so I didn't watch any news at all because we left the White House. Then the press conference, and had several interviews at the Rose Garden, just outside the Oval Office. And then I went to the hotel, got my luggage, went to the airport.
Didn't have time to watch it, but that's what the reality was.
But I kept hearing. I kept hearing people say, "Oh my God, you're all over the news. You're all over." I couldn't see anything, but it is disgusting how disappointed, and how even from within they try to keep us away from President Trump. President Trump has vowed to build a wall to secure our borders because he himself recognized the invasion that's happening and the mockery. And do people think that these people, they are breaking down the walls to go into Mexico and trying to force themselves into our country? Does anybody really think that they're going to respect our laws? No, they're going to be stealing, raping, most of them. They're going to be doing whatever they can to get away. There's not enough jobs for all those people.
Right. Well, we have record level of low unemployment, and that's going to create a competitive job atmosphere for our own U.S. citizens and those people who are here legally.
Yes.
And we're going to have a strong economy. And as we build the wall, that's going to make for even stronger economy. And you're correct. There isn't room for people here illegally to retain jobs or to have jobs illegally. That's not how it works. But I don't think anybody is saying that we don't want individuals to come into this country. We do. We want legal immigrants or legal workers. And I think that's another conversation we need to talk about just for a moment here, is that Congress has been kicking the can on the immigration issue for a very long time, and they've had years, decades in fact, to find solutions for more legal workers from and through Mexico, and to enhance that program to be able to have individuals working here. We already have some. We already have many. But there are solutions that can be had, and Congress isn't taking action. They're choosing not to.
They are not taking action, and they are the ones to be blamed for this insanity. And my heart goes out to these poverty-stricken countries that are trying to come to the United States. But let's be very candid here. There are, I don't think our government even knows how many millions of illegal aliens presently in our country. And I know many of them, and they have been here 20, 30 years and still cannot master the English language. What kind of work are they going to be doing? They can't read and write in their own language. And most of these people coming here, they are fairly uneducated or quite uneducated. What are they going to do here?
Well,
They're not going to be able to, if they haven't learned their own language of their country where they were born, they're not going to learn English. They're not going to serve any good purpose here in this country. There's, like somebody said, there's only so much dishwashers and house cleaning and babysitters. What are we going to do with this excess? And think about this. And what are we doing with the elderly? They're going to become a huge financial burden on our taxpayers. As it is, even the younger ones, they go and draw
schools,
public assistance
public
and
assistance,
low housing.
Mhm.
It's not fair.
Right, right. Well, and you bring up a very good point, Agnes, in the public services, because the children who come here are protected on federal programs, or who are brought here, shall I say, are covered under federal programs. They utilize our schools, English as a second language. Um, Programs at ESL, as many people know, we spend literally billions of dollars on these subsidy programs. But the ones that come here as refugees, they're actually getting access to SSI because they
That's
don't
right.
speak English. And these are funds that citizens have paid into for generations. And in fact, they're bleeding our system dry. And it's a concern. And I don't believe anybody is saying that we don't want to help actual individuals in refugee type situations or in child trafficking issue situations, but it's just a matter of what the help looks like and what is Congress doing to fix it. Last I checked, they aren't, and they would just rather keep importing more illegal votes. And in the case of California, where I live, that's becoming a very big issue. They're now impacting our elections, so I hear. So it's with the census coming up, it's going to even become a larger issue. It's something that's a very big reality, and I think President Donald Trump, as you say, Agnes, he's trying to make a positive impact, and he's really trying to work for the American people, and people need to give him a chance. And he wants solutions. He's put things before Congress and said, "Let's come to the table," multiple times, and Congress keeps pushing back, but it's because of people like you, Agnes, that we're able to keep this conversation going, because the reality is we don't want more people to die.
No,
We want
no, we don't.
families to be living in secure communities, to have strong economies so they can flourish and have the opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? The American dream.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. And what about the millions and millions of dollars that United States gives to these poor countries as humanitarian aids? What's
Absolutely.
being done with that money? Keep that
Corrupt
money and
governments.
build a wall. You can't keep your people in your country and having them flood our borders, attack our border patrol. These men and women want to go home to their families at the end of the day, and they don't want to go home in a coffin and or be blinded or seriously hurt.
Right.
This is why we need to shut this border. Look, we have a sensible immigration system. You apply, you go through the vetting process, full background investigation, full medical. They go through the process. If this is so important for you to come here, then do it like my family did. Don't just come and push yourself through my front door and say, "I like your bedroom. I'm going to live in your bedroom now. And you're going to buy me food and you're going to pay for the water, the electricity, the everything else." No, it doesn't work like that. But here in California, we have no choice. You look at it now. California, we lost in our income tax. We can't deduct California property tax anymore. And that's probably why Gavin Newsom is giving $25 million to illegal aliens to help with their legal fund to defend themselves. What an insanity is that?
Well,
I don't want my dollars going there.
The other thing is that money that you're talking about right there is also going for housing and other things. We actually had an organization in San Diego who were adding to our RAN Action Fund and our Restoring America Now project they literally reached out for some assistance financially from those monies that were going to be given out for, you know, the needy. And they were told, no, those monies are only for people who've come here from Central America.
See, yeah, it's not right. This
Tax
is,
dollars being put towards individuals who are here from Central America illegally,
yeah,
rather than
and
our
where
own
is the
homeless.
money for people that have lost their loved ones, and who, let's say, a husband is killed by an illegal alien? How is that wife gonna live from that point on to bury her husband, to support her family, pay the mortgage, and bring up the kids and put them through college? There is no help for that widow.
Right, right.
But then we give to total strangers that invade our country. This has to stop. People need to
The
start waking
priorities are
up.
up, right? And again, I think it's to weaken our economy, to weaken our communities, and to bleed our finances dry. And when we should be putting Americans first, our citizens first, our veterans first, our homeless first, and our communities and our family, public safety is a priority. All of these things should be coming first before we take care of other individuals.
Absolutely. How about putting some of that money towards better health care for the elderly, those people that already work, they're senior citizens? How about the veterans? How about the impoverished children that live in our country? Why should
We
my
have
tax
homeless
dollars?
children. We have tens of thousands of homeless children in California alone.
Right.
Children who, by the way, I was reading a report. A homeless mother had several homeless children with her, and because her children had some issues getting to school, the mother was prosecuted by Kamala Harris, literally. And you know, what happened to the fact that, you know, our family should be put first? You know, it's just terrible. It's terrible to think that they'll go to the rescue of all of these other individuals, but yet our own communities can't get the resources and help that they need to get a hand up, and our own children are suffering.
Yes, and we and the veterans, you know, there's just so many issues that we need to take care of in our own country. Humanitarian issues here too. Why are we always? United States is the most giving, compassionate country in the world, but when United States has difficulties like these, what other countries in the world do you see providing any assistance to us at all?
Right, absolutely. Well, you know, that is a very good question. We're getting here to the end of your interview, Agnes. What last few words do you have for people listening here today to your story?
I wanted to tell everybody thank you for the continued support. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. And I ask you and beg you, please do not back away from President Trump. He is a great president. He's a good man, a good-hearted man, has the best interest of this country at heart. And give the man a chance, because has done some tremendous improvement in this country already. And God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the Aaron Cruz Show, Agnes. Hopefully we'll hear from you at a later date, and you can share with us some improvements that you've seen.
Anytime. Call on me anytime you would like, Aaron. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. God bless you. Thank you, Agnes.
God bless you. Thank you.